The year is 2019, and the Given fandom is excited to finally get another installment of their gay music boys. Red Panda, in her tired and done with life fashion, glances at the Crunchyroll page apathetically. She's tone deaf, so she never gave a damn about the musical aspect of Given anyway. Her favorite men did not get the spotlight in the 11-episode anime, so her disappointment was immeasurable and her day was ruined. Red Panda truly did not want to see more of Uenoyama and Mafuyu's relationship, so she passed on the movie. Time skip to 2020, when Red Panda started a channel out of pure existential terror and was asked by subscribers to watch and review the Given movie. Begrudgingly, she started watching. Soon, realization dawned on her. She was a fucking moron who never read the movie description.
Some people are really fucking stupid.
Allow me to explain. Roll intro. As I previously mentioned, I never cared too much for Uenoyama and Mafuyu. Neither of them have a personality that I can relate to, but they were pleasant enough characters. Perhaps because I can no longer relate to most high school romances and fresh first loves anymore, I was more interested in Akihiko and Haruki. I don't know man, I like my man more mature and traumatized by life. If a character acts like despite their best efforts, life chewed them up and spat them back out, then I can relate. So imagine the massive facepalm I gave myself when I found out that the Given movie I was avoiding because I didn't care for more high school awkward angsty uemafu drama ended up being about my favorite love triangle ever. It was a massive facepalm. You could see the out on her forehead from space. So let's take a look at this. Haruki has had a hopeless crush on Akihiko for a while, but he's too chicken shit to admit it. Now, you might be looking at me right now and thinking we're not off to the best start, but hey, don't you trust me?
No!
Akihiko, this delicious-looking hunk of a man who reminds me of Noise from Dramatical Murder, which is by the way an abomination that shouldn't have happened, but I watched it anyway.
I kissed you. Big deal.
Is in turn helplessly in love with Ugetsu, the source of his inferiority complex and the one standing in the way of Akihiko developing a healthy self-esteem and a non-parasitic bond with another human.
I don't like where this is going.
Okay, I bet you're all wondering why the hell would I like that? It sounds really toxic, and it is. But that's what makes this so interesting. Akihiko and Ugetsu aren't some perfect couple that Haruki is forced to watch helplessly. Ugetsu is also hot stuff, and quite frankly, I find him fascinating. And Akihiko's fixation with him is understandable. He's the kind of superhuman that you feel you can meet only once in your life, and you just can't let him go. Of course, a parasitic relationship doesn't require a partner to be exceptional, but in this case, Ugetsu's exceptionalism is part of what keeps Akihiko stuck to him. But let's take a look at the plot a little bit. Given is trying to make their debut at a festival and everyone's mind is on the music. Except Akihiko, whose mind is clearly on sex, which he uses to distract himself from his feelings of worthlessness. Been there, done that. And Haruki, who is obsessing over Akihiko's sex life as one does when they're pining. Mafuyu, this musical genius whose prowess is beyond my tone-deaf ears, strikes a sort of friendship with Ugetsu as the two misunderstood geniuses that they are. At the same time that Mafuyu and Ugetsu drift together, Akihiko and Ugetsu drift apart. Their relationship hits yet another manic-depressive episode, and after a fight, Akihiko packs up and leaves. We figure out that this is a pattern that's been repeating for a while now, and while the fights are bound to keep happening, Ugetsu always waits for Akihiko to come back. Until one day, he doesn't. Instead, Akihiko makes use of that sweet body to sleep around different women's places and drive Haruki further into pining hell.
Go home, jerk off, and that's all you're gonna do.
Until it's Haruki's time to take care of Akihiko, and when that time comes, oh boy, oh man, does it get interesting! Are we finally gonna get some hot action? Of course the fuck not, because this is yet another case of Akihiko being like, I'm tired of thinking with my head upstairs, so I'ma think with my head downstairs, and assault my friend that I know has a crush on me and that I also kind of like, but I'm still too deep in an unhealthy relationship to fully recognize.
Wow! What an asshole!
So naturally, when shit goes down and Akihiko's massive dong attack is halted, they're both hurt and my baby is in tears and they avoid each other for a bit. But then the power of music ends up bringing them back together because Mafuyu's magical siren song brings them all back to their senses.
I asked my baby to try to make me some scrambled eggs.
Don't ask me how, I'm tone deaf. The only distinct musical genres that register to my ears are classical and metal. Everything else is just in between. So now that Akihiko takes a long hard look at himself and asks,
Why are you the way that you are?
He finally breaks off the relationship with Ugetsu. And I love how realistic the breakup is, with both of them thinking that it's long overdue, and yet there's still being that lingering feeling of, but wait, don't go!
Let me smash, please.
People are creatures of habit. I also often find myself being sad to make any change in my beloved routine, even when it's a change that I want and welcome. So with his newfound freedom and rundown apartment, Akihiko takes up the violin seriously again and tries to impress Haruki with it. In a way, the further away Akihiko is from Ugetsu, the more he can enjoy the violin. And to think that they met through the damn thing.
Irony!
Coming together and then drifting apart because of music. Maybe this is just me not getting the mind of an artist, but I think the real mismatch here came from the fact that they both have top energy. Both Akihiko and Ugetsu don't want to lose, and because they're immature, they prolong this fight for dominance, whether it be musical or sexual, ad infinitum. Haruki also has an inferiority complex, but he also has a completely different personality from Akihiko and Ugetsu. He doesn't want to be better for his own sake, but for the band's sake. Haruki looks at his failures as a musician through the eyes of the teammates that he perceives he is letting down. Akihiko, on the other hand, sees his failures as a personal problem, a lack of exceptionalism, and an inability to be the best on his own rather than as part of a whole. It's because Haruki is the peacemaker that Akihiko learns to become a part of a team and find the joy in music again despite not being able to be the best. Ugetsu convinced Akihiko that a skill was not worth pursuing if you weren't serious about being the best. But Haruki helped Akihiko see how a group was not held together by the sheer prowess of its members. But okay, enough philosophy panda here. I got carried away with just how much I love this love triangle and seeing it transform from unhealthy parasitic love into something downright endearing. I mean, just look at those two dorks.
俺が生き方を変えたのはお前に見合う男になりたかったからだ
They're so cute. But come on, Panda, you can't just be praising something nonstop. Right at the beginning, you were saying you only thought the show was okay.
I never cared too much for Uenoyama and Mafuyu.
What's your list of emotional grievances this time around? Well, what first comes to mind is the animation. For the most part, the movie looks fine, the character designs are still good, and the film looks decent overall. But it looks too much like the series. What do I mean by that? Well, seeing that this was an actual movie, as in something released in theaters and not an OVA, I was hoping that it would look a little bit better than what we got on TV, especially when it comes to the music scenes. Yeah, there was a budget for this, but this is clearly not where it went. As you can see, Given has the same shortcomings that most CGI in anime has. It looks off. It's strange too, because most of the close-up shots are animated normally, but anytime we see the characters from the back, or way from the front, and even just a regular profile, we get those marionettes that I know for certain aren't hitting all the right notes. I also feel that the movie tends to be a bit rushed. This isn't too bad when it comes to the love triangle, but it becomes a problem when it comes to the music sections. Now, I wasn't the biggest fan of these parts in the series to begin with, but at least they had a decent amount of build-up to the big performance. The song itself was pretty lackluster in my eyes, but still. Here, the music scenes just kind of happen. 1 minute Mafuyu will have barely made any progress with the song, and then the next time we see him, he'll have figured it out.
歌詞は適当ですよかった
I'm guessing they cut out a lot of the music scenes so the story would stick to Aki and Haruki, but it's strange that the studio cut out scenes that weren't really fluff. But if you're like me and you're watching the Given movie because you love Akihiko and Haruki so damn much, then these points won't exactly bring the whole film down. It has a much more complex love story with characters who are a lot more flawed and need to realize how change, while often painful, is still necessary for them to grow. And hey, it's only an hour long too, so it won't take up too much of the already little time you have to relax.
4 hours late for this goddamn bullshit!
Well, I guess that about wraps things up here. Let me know if there's another similar film or series you'd want me to talk about, and see you all next time. Bye!